Welcome to the Max Report, the global resource for payments and cash management. I'm Joshua Cohen. So here's the thing. We've spent 100 years developing software to enable treasuries to centralize their functions, centralize their operations, and centralize their decision making. But now we're hearing empower the regional treasury center and decentralize, and smart contracts are the answer. Chris Hagen, you've written a paper on smart contracts, available on maxdirectory.com, called The Financial Dance Party. So what is going on?
Thanks, Josh, and thanks for having me here. Look, I find this subject so fascinating, and think about it. Imagine absolutely swift and secure payments, no more hidden fees, instant transparent transactions, every payment, every transaction being crystal clear. And all this with smart contracts, which effectively are powered by blockchain technology. Yeah. So blockchain technology is such a new technology which gives us so much great benefit, makes me excited, makes the market excited, and yes, it changes what we have learned from the past, but it opens up so much opportunities.
Okay, but we're here to talk about payments and cash management. What's this got to do with our subject matter?
Yeah, if you think about that you want to become more efficient, more automated, you want to talk about decentralizing your cash management. We've seen in McKinsey studies that by doing so, we reduce the operational cost by up to 40%. We are also able to reduce fraud by 50%, in some cases even more. So by adopting blockchain as the underlying technology, and keep in mind that about 80% of CEOs and executives see the investment in blockchain as very critical, we actually create benefits to the organizations that go way beyond what we were able to do before.
So you're talking about some of the benefits, but I know that change always involves risks as well. Are we taking on too much risk? Would a large corporation that wants to start its decentralized program, is it taking on a huge amount of risk, and are they in fact doing this?
I agree with you, and for all the viewers, I believe everyone is now thinking the new technology bears risk, and we are afraid of adopting new things. That's a natural thing in a human behavior. And here we particularly are concerned with regulations, with compliance, with reputational risk. But I say, yes, there is a residual risk as everywhere, but I think the opportunities outweigh the risk by far. Wouldn't you agree?
You know, when I look at this decentralization, and I spend a lot of time looking at liquidity management and real-time liquidity management, how do you get those capabilities into your business? And I can see that, you know, the sort of the decentralized way of working in one geography, passing cash to the next geography, all of it automated, all of it happening in real time. So as a corporate, I'm really maximizing the use of my cash. It's never sitting idle anywhere. I get that one. What else? What are the other tangibles that this delivers, this new technology the smart contracts can deliver?
There are many others, but let me just come back to your real-time liquidity management piece. And you're absolutely right. Abilities that are in the market available to provide this from a technology space is amazing, and people should look into this. But I go a step further. If we look at liquidity management or liquidity crises, which we've seen in the world in the past, and we see geopolitical changes, it's very important that these blockchain technology cash management strategies are able to support a forecasting and outlook management kind of capability. And here the embedded finance comes in. When you combine blockchain data with your enterprise resource management, your financial data management, so to speak, and you enrich that by blockchain data, you become actually much more better. You are being able, for example, to offer on-demand lending or insurances within the supply chain of corporates. So this is fantastic.
All of it embedded within the journey,
absolutely. I mean, this is crazy, and it's all secure. It's all being legally untouchable. So it's all very transparent. And you basically, what you're doing is you're unifying cash management and finance, ERP, to create an intelligent, very decentralized financial ecosystem, which allows you subsequently to transform from a very reactive setup to become much more proactive, real-time, and what is most important, it's actually creating value. So blockchain, a technology that is so new, but it's so advanced, will actually enhance the cash management capabilities. And on the other hand side, with the embedded finance, it allows you to combine your cash management services, your cash management of your own, if you're a corporate, with your own strategic forecasting and planning like you have not done before. So it's a very, very great platform.
The underlying technology of the smart contract is events driven and then within the smart contract there are trigger points, which something happens, an event happens, a financial event happens, that triggers the next thing to happen. And this is where the sort of the decentralization opportunity comes in, because no longer does every decision have to roll up to the top of the treasury in the center. Rather, because the smart contract has been invoked locally, then locally an event will actually trigger a local happening, a movement of cash or a release of funds or something like that. This is the idea.
It's true. It's true. But what you're describing is a very historical data-looking approach, because you're looking at events that have taken place and others have followed. Now, by saying we embed the finance angle into it, so the ERP angle, and keep in mind that finance has now become a much more forward-looking function. So now you are combining cash management, which is to a certain degree backwards-looking and forwards-looking. You are now combining it with the ability in ERP to project your financials on scenario modeling level forward. So you are much more easier to say, okay, what can I do as a bank for my customers? I can project forward the effects it has on financials, and at the same time, you also can plan better for yourself. So it's a win-win on all sides.
And like me, are you also seeing new use cases emerging every month where someone says, hey, I could do this? And then it's about solutioning.
Oh, amazing, yeah. I mean, there is so much R&D going in there. New technologies next to AI, of course, because no conversation without mentioning AI.
We'll probably come to that in another episode of this.
Probably 100%. But, it's such a vast topic. It's amazing what's happening in the market, and the development never stops.
Yeah, and I imagine our conversation could never stop unless we put an end to it. But as your tagline says, let's keep talking. I'm looking forward to the next discussion. Thank you for joining us on the Max Report, and we look forward to speaking to you again next time.